This is AI Podcast, and today we're digging into a fresh AAAI 2025 paper called Does Your AI Agent Get You? By Yinxu Tang and colleagues in William Yeoh's group.
Great title. So bottom line first, what did they actually find?
The short version is this. They built a framework called Persona that lets an AI agent keep a running, personalized picture of what a specific human believes and update that picture as the two go back and forth in an argument.
Personalized as in the agent adapts to me rather than treating me like an average user?
Exactly. Think of it like giving the agent a pair of probability glasses tuned to how you see uncertainty. Some people overweight long shots, some underplay near certainties. Persona learns your lens and uses it while it updates a probability distribution over what you likely believe.
That sounds intuitive, but why is this needed now?
A lot of explainable AI systems use argumentation, where the agent presents reasons and you respond. Most of those assume a fixed model of the human. Real people aren't fixed. We form beliefs with confidence, hedge, change our minds. That gap hurts alignment during explanations.
So the problem is that dialogue is dynamic, but the models have been static, right?
Right. Prior work, like Hunter's argumentation methods, tracks beliefs to some degree, but it doesn't personalize how each person interprets probability. Persona adds that missing personal lens.
Walk me through how it actually works, but keep it human. No heavy math.
Deal. Picture a map of possible worlds that represent different ways you might see the topic. The agent starts with a spread-out belief over that map. Every time an argument shows up in the conversation, the agent nudges its belief toward worlds where that argument would be true and away from worlds where it wouldn't.
So far, that's like a standard update. Where does personalization enter?
Before updating, the system runs your expressed confidence through a curve inspired by prospect theory. In plain English, it transforms your "I'm pretty sure" or "I'm not so sure" into the kind of probability you personally act on. Then it uses that transformed value to weight the update.
So my 80% might feel like 60 to me, or 90, depending on my style, and the agent learns that style?
Exactly. And it learns it from your dialogue trace. After each round, you also rank a few candidate models of the situation. Persona tunes your personal curve to make its predicted ranking line up with yours, then checks how well that tuning generalizes to later rounds.
Where did they test this?
In a controlled human study, participants debated with an assistant about a fictional venue for a team-building event. The agent would raise a point. The participant would say how confident they were, pick a counter-argument, and rank a few perspectives on the venue's suitability. There were only a handful of arguments and models to keep things interpretable.
Keeping it tight so they can isolate the method. Got it. Roughly how many people?
Around 200 recruited online, with most of them passing quality checks.
And what did Persona beat?
They compared against two families. First, ablations of their own method, like a simple Bayesian update with no personalization, and a version with one generic curve for everyone. Second, state-of-the-art argumentation baselines inspired by Hunter's work.
Results in plain language?
On predicting how a person would rank the models over time, Persona generally matched or outperformed the baselines. The benefit grew as it saw more of your dialogue and could personalize better. On estimating people's beliefs about specific arguments, Persona still looked strong, especially at the high accuracy end, but here's the nuance. The simple Bayesian variant wasn't statistically worse overall.
So personalization clearly helps, but sometimes a plain update gets you close.
Exactly. Persona shines for the users and settings where probability perception really matters. And, importantly, the method ran fast enough for interactive use. On a laptop, per-person computation was well under a second, not counting any language parsing.
Speaking of language, were these neat symbolic arguments or messy natural sentences?
Good catch. The study used structured arguments with a shared vocabulary, so translating from free-form language to logic was controlled. The authors are clear that robust language-to-logic pipelines are future work.
That's a big step for deployment. If I'm just chatting with my calendar app, it needs to extract arguments from my messy sentences.
Totally. One way forward is to pair Persona with an argument mining front end, likely LLM-assisted, then test the whole pipeline end to end.
Any other limitations we should flag?
A few. The domain was narrow, a single event planning scenario with a small argument set and 4 candidate models. That's great for clarity, but we still need cross-domain validation. Also, comparisons focused on argumentation methods. They didn't go head-to-head with, say, modern LLM personalization or preference learning systems that aren't argument-centric.
Right, so we can't yet say it's better than everything else, only that it's better than the most relevant argumentation baselines.
Exactly. And while the sample size is respectable for an HCI study, when you slice the data by rounds or by who ended the dialogue early, power can get thin. They report that nuance openly.
Let's zoom in on why the probability lens matters. Can you give me a concrete example?
Sure. Imagine you and I are deciding whether a venue is quiet. I present an argument. Weekday evenings are calm. You say you're fairly confident. If, psychologically, you tend to downplay high probabilities, your fairly confident might behave more like a 50-50. Without learning that distortion, I'll misread you, choose the wrong follow-up argument, and fail to converge on your true view. Persona learns your distortion and compensates, so its next move reflects how you actually weigh the evidence.
Nice. It's like the agent calibrates to my internal compass before arguing further.
Exactly. That calibration helps it approximate your mental model, not just react to the literal number you typed.
Do they say anything about how this could change the agent's strategy, not just its understanding?
They suggest using the learned human model to pick better arguments next, for example, tailoring which evidence to present. That's a natural next step. Move from better modeling to better decisions.
And what about fairness or safety? Personalization can lock in quirks we might not want.
True. The authors hint at robustness work ahead. I'd add safeguards like periodic calibration checks or priors that keep the curve from going to extremes unless there's strong evidence.
If you were extending this tomorrow, what would you build?
3 things. First, an LLM-based argument extraction layer so the system handles real conversations. Second, cross-domain and longer-term studies to see if your learned curve stays stable over weeks. Third, a hierarchical approach where we share statistical strength across users while still personalizing to each individual.
Like giving the system a good starting guess for new users, but letting it adapt quickly.
Exactly. Cold start meets warm personalization.
Quick note on authors. You mentioned Yinxu Tang and William Yeoh's group. That helps anchor the provenance.
Yes, and it's published at AAAI with code and data available, which is great for reproducibility.
Perfect. Let's land the plane. What should listeners take away?
Takeaway is simple. If you want AI explanations that truly meet people where they are, you can't just model what they believe, you must model how they feel about uncertainty. Persona adds that personal probability lens on top of principled updates, and in controlled studies, it generally improves the agent's ability to track a person's evolving view.
Nicely put. It's not just what you know, it's how you weigh it. And the agent learning that about you makes the dialogue smarter.
Exactly. That's all for today on AI Podcast.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.